This is the County Board of Commissioners, Wednesday, June 26th. If we could turn off all cell phones or make them mute or whatever. Also, then at this point, if we could have the pledge or the invocation and then pledge of allegiance, please.
Our dear God, we know that you chose us each and individually before the foundation of the world, that you are our best friend, and through your power and your miracles, you made us sons of God, so that when we die, we'll wake up to eternal life with you in heaven. It's going to be great to be with you, God. I'll bet you're charming, I'll bet you're funny, and even fun. We get to dwell in your house, the house of the Lord forever. So we want to say tonight, please say hi to your special son, Owen Williamson. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rennie?
Present.
Inman?
Here.
Thomas?
Yep.
Wheelock?
Yes, ma'am.
Max Bauer? Here. Lathrop?
Here.
Lemko?
Here. Okay. Next is the approval of minutes, May 29th.
Motion to approve the regular board minutes of May 29th.
Second. Support by Rennie. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is June 5th, special Board of Commissioners meeting with Road Commission
Move for approval.
Support.
by Inman and supported by Wheelock. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. June 18th, Board of Commission meetings with Road Commission
So moved.
by Thomas, support by
Support.
Wheelock. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is June 19th, Board of Commissioners meeting, strategic planning,
So moved.
support by, or motion by Inman, support by Max Bauer.
Have a roll call vote, please. I wasn't here.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Inman?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Wheelock?
Abstain, please.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Rennie?
Yes.
Lemko?
Yes. Motion's carried. Next, we have public comment.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. 1. Any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. 2. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. Chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to make public comment? Don't all rush at once. Seeing nobody moving toward the podium, I will close public comment and we go to the approval of the agenda.
We have an add-on, don't we?
Is there any additions to the agenda?
Yeah. Nope. Substitute.
Oh, a substitute. Is that the community corrections one? Is
Yes.
it that one right there?
Yes.
Okay, it's right here.
Going to add community corrections where? Do you want to?
That's a substitute, I guess.
It's just a substitute.
For what item do you recall?
Item number.
Want to do that under new business or
Well-
unfinished? Huh?
It's under it's under Department Action Items, Community Corrections B. So we just need to
Okay.
replace that document with
It's
that.
already there, so that's
Yeah.
page
We
98.
just have a different
Okay.
change in the contract.
All right. No other additions to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented, substituting Community Corrections application for the year 2014 that's in the consent calendar.
I support.
Support by Rennie. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excuse
It's just
me?
approving the
Oh, yeah,
agenda.
yes.
All right. Next, we have special order of business, the Fife Lake Village Update, or Fife Lake Township by Linda Forwick. If you'd please come forward, Linda.
I'm the township supervisor. Lisa could not be here tonight. Lisa Leedy, the village president, so she asked me to come in her place. And I've given all of you some handouts to kind of bring you up to date on things. We have a couple of flyers. Of course, as Lisa's told you, we were voted Michigan's best inland lake by the Lansing State Journal. This is our 4th of July events that start next week, and there's more on the back of each one of these. I've also given you the newsletter that just went out for the village called The Village Voice. The townships is much plainer, but maybe it has more information in it. I don't know. This you can read sometime when you're away from here. A couple of things that I will touch on. The township did adopt the stormwater ordinance last month, and we have on our agenda tomorrow night at our meeting that intergovernmental agreement. The village did adopt that at their June meeting, and they're going to be talking about the stormwater ordinance itself. The village did adopt the fireworks ordinance, and we have it on our agenda tomorrow night. We'll probably adopt it. So those are two things we have going. I'd be happy to answer any questions or highlight things for you if you want me to. I really don't know what's expected, but I'm sure I'll have an answer.
Well, basically, we're just looking for kind of an update as to what's happening in your township or your village, so that the commissioners and the people in the community start to understand what townships are doing and how, and what's really important for them in the future and where they're going.
Okay, I'll talk about the township first because I'm more on top of that. Our population went up in this last census, so we were able to get more revenue sharing, and that allowed us to do a few extra projects last year and in the coming budget year. So we are going to do a road project. Our budget will be adopted tomorrow night, and that our fiscal year begins July 1. So we are going to start with Town Line Road. I've met with the Road Commission. That's our worst road with the lowest Payzer rating, or highest, whichever way you want to look at it. It's pretty bad. And so we're going to do a mile section. That'll be a cost sharing with Paradise Township and the Road Commission. So that'll be our first big road project, and I don't know when. Anyway, you know I'm new in this. So that's what the first thing talks about. We have upgraded our office. Our furniture was like the old Army desks. And we did buy refurbished furniture from Excel. We are working on our emergency plan, and we have met with Greg Bird, and we're pretty impressed with him. We invited the schools, the churches, the American Legion, and we're all working jointly to upgrade that, our fire and EMS department. Rural fire, I'm sure you know a little bit about that. That's been pretty shaky. You probably know more about it, Dick, because of Green Lake. But Bill Salagic is retiring August 1st, and so we're in the process of getting resumes for his replacement right now. Tom Gray from Springfield Township, Kalkaska County, serves on that board with me. We represent Fife Lake area. Sewer Authority, our operator, is retiring, and so they're also going out for resumes. You should see that ad in the Record Eagle tomorrow. It was supposed to be there today, but I didn't see it. I won't go into Beta. You've already heard from us about Beta. We've done a lot of work on our cemeteries. We're really bringing them up to be a kind of a beautification project. If you've been to Fife Lake, as you come into town, Fife Lake Cemetery is right there on the entrance of the village. And also we have Walton Cemetery. We've cleaned up our boat access. The township owns a boat access on the south end of the lake, and we're making that more presentable. And we also own what we call Lot 82, and we've cleaned that up. So we don't have any parks, like the village has 4 parks. Our milfoil, our lakefront property owners are still paying into that, but that assessment has gone way down, and we have a milfoil committee, the prior supervisor and 2 other men that live on the lake. They go out and monitor that, and the milfoil is down to about 10 acres. So they have made a lot of headway in the last 5 years, and I give Fred Joels a lot of credit for that. Civic Center South, I have a note in there. Thank you very much for your contribution. We have 2 reps on that board, and our citizens also use that park. In the village, I'm just going to have to kind of look at this as we go. They're starting leaf pickup this fall, and that's something that a lot of our citizens, since we can't burn leaves in the village, will really, I think, find very useful. And the leaves will be taken to the old dump site and turned into compost. So, let's see. Swimming lessons, you know, we just had a recent drowning Sunday, and I just want the county board to know that this will be the 3rd year that we've had swimming lessons at the beach. We've had swimming lessons off and on, but it looks like one of our council members is really adamant that we provide these for the children. And so she is making sure that this happens.
Linda, may I interrupt? They're free, are they not?
Yes.
For the residents?
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that.
Yes.
That they're free.
Yes, they are. And they start, I think Lisa said, in August. So we have a lot of people on the beach right now. Let me see. The village had a real problem at the main beach. If you've been in town, it's just beyond the railroad tracks. It's a beautiful park, but the geese were there, and it was really a mess. So Lisa came up with this little system where she takes 2 yellow, I guess they're ropes kind of, and puts them up about this high, and the geese don't like stepping over those from the sand to the grass. So they are migrating to a different spot. They're still up, but I think she'll have them down next week because of the 4th of July celebration. The DDA has done some things, and I happen to chair the DDA. As you saw on the news, you saw the dock. The DDA paid for that, and it just went in before Memorial Day. We're also putting disc golf in behind the school in Fife Lake. We have what we call a snowball park. It'll be 12 baskets. It'll be quite a condensed course, but it'll be used quite a bit, I think. We also paid for these flyers, and let me see. We have a new wayfaring set of signs going in, and they will start out at 131 and 186 or State Street. That's in the village, and they will point to all the businesses and the governmental places, the recycling center, all those types of things. And then as you come in, this is all within the DDA district. The DDA did pay for all signs of businesses or governmental units in the district. As you come into town by the museum and the old library, which we call a schoolhouse, there'll be another set there because the Methodist Church and the grocery store and those types of things are north of town. And then when you get down to what we call the Memorial Park, there'll be another set there, and they will point, the library goes one way and some of the other businesses go another. And then you'll get down by the motel, and it'll point up the hill to Bates Street and the recycling. So these are actually 36 inches by, I don't know, I haven't seen them. They're supposed to come in tomorrow. They're on Corian in different colors, and we think it's going to really be not only good directional signage, but also just kind of a different type of thing. One of our citizens had a similar type of signage in her yard, And that's where we came up with that idea. So come on out and visit us. If the Cherry Festival gets too much for you, come on out to this.
You're still showing movies in the summer?
Yes, and in fact, they're on the back of this, Chris.
All right.
So can I answer any questions for you?
Anybody have any questions? Linda, thank you very much for
You're
doing this.
welcome.
You know, it's really a pleasure to see what all the townships and the villages are doing in our county, and we appreciate the updates.
You're welcome.
Hey, Linda, I'd like to thank you for coming out on short notice.
Yeah.
I know Lisa got busy, and
Yeah.
we appreciate your time.
That's why I held you up in the traffic.
I know.
Charlie.
I saw her bumper all the way into town.
Cool. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission staff or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file, or approval, is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. A, receive and file. Number 1, thank you cards from Cherry Festival and Boom Boom Club. 2, Department of Veterans Services, March 21st minutes. Number 3, Area Agency on Aging of Northwest Michigan, April 4th minutes. Number 4, Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency, April 18th minutes. Number 5, Grand Traverse County Department of Human Services, April 26 minutes. Number 6, Northwestern Regional Airport Commission, April 30th minutes. Number 7, Board of Public Works, May 9th minutes. Number 8, Traverse Area District Library, May 16th minutes. Number 9, Grand Traverse Community Collaborative, May 23rd minutes. Number 10, Grand Traverse County Department of Human Services Board, May 31st minutes. Number 11, resolutions regarding full funding of revenue sharing payments to counties from Livingston and Oceana counties. Approvals. The Public Health and Safety Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 12, approve updated 911 service plan. Number 13, Mitchell and McCormick Annual Software Maintenance and Support Agreement. Number 14, Grand Traverse Sheriff's Office Surplus Vehicle. Number 15, County Vehicle Maintenance Agreements. The Resource Management Administration Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 16, Resource Recovery 2013 Hauler License. Number 17, Staffing Plan Amendment, Michigan State University Extension. Number 18, Additional Services Offered by the County Clerk's Office. The Ways and Means Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 19, Copier Purchases. Number 20, 2013 Tax Rate Request L4029. Number 21, Budget Adjustments. Number 22, Land Bank Fund Established. Number 23, Recommendation to Close Twin Lakes Beach.
Hearing, is there anybody from the public who'd like anything removed from the agenda? Mark?
7B15.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm
Chris?
just going to note that I'm in agreement.
Oh, okay.
Is this the public or
Was
the
it just
board?
B15? Is it
Anybody else from the public? Yes, Jason?
B15?
Public Health and Safety, number
23,
15.
and there may have been a typo.
Very good.
The final resolution.
Okay. Anybody from the board like anything removed?
23.
We got 23 and 15 being removed.
Oh, you already have 23? All right.
Yep. Any, no other items? A motion to...
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the consent calendar with the exception of item B15 and B23.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Inman. Any discussion? All, roll call.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yep.
Wheelock?
Yes, ma'am.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Rennie?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes.
Limco?
Yes. Next is the items pulled off from the consent calendar, county vehicle maintenance agreement. I will entertain some public comment because I was notified that Mark would like to speak on this subject. If you would like, please come forward, Mark.
Mark Grist, my address is 4270 Barney Road. I'm also the owner of Traverse City Fleet Repair at 435 South Airport Road. Just a quick story, I know I'm short on time. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I attempted to get on the county bid list and was unsuccessful several times. I don't know why I never got the bid package, but I never got anything available in time. Finally, in 2010, I was available and able to get on the bid list, and my bid came in lower than anybody as far as vehicle maintenance and repair on the county vehicles. I was told that I could not have the bid at that time because I was an unknown business owner, and I needed to prove myself, so they would allow me to do the oil changes for the county and some minor repairs. And at that time, I'd mentioned I had been working on the county vehicles, doing full repairs for the health department, the construction code, probate court, and several other areas since 2002 without any question. So I went with the bid, and it came up this year again, and we got the notice from the sheriff's department that it was going to be a combined bid. So I thought I'd do my homework. And I thought I did everything that I was supposed to do based on county policies and the bid letter itself. And I apologize if I'm going too slow. I'll try and keep up. I read the June 5th, 2013 minutes from the Public Safety and Health meeting, and I just wanted to respond to the maintenance area. I put in countless hours into my bids over the years, and I'm sure the other owners of their establishments did as well. And we did it with due diligence. We researched if we could get the parts available and have them on the shelf for the folks and have the manpower and the time available to do the repairs that's been asked of the county in a timely and efficient manner. I thought that I was the lowest legal bid and was surprised at the outcome of the board meeting. From what I have read from the county procurement policy, Section 2C, faxed bids will not be accepted, period. It's in bold lettering, and from the actual bid package, they had to be submitted on time in a sealed envelope and marked appropriately. The bid package that I got from the sheriff's office states the county reserves the right to negotiate separately to serve the best interests of the county, but no one came to me to talk to me about my bid. And I could have adjusted it if there was some sort of an error, since I was rightfully the lowest bid at that time. It didn't appear anyone thought to ask me about the distance they have to drive to the current repair facility or the one that is being attempted to be approved, or the manpower to pick them up and drop them off. It is 9.2 miles from the sheriff's office to that location and 2.5 miles to mine from their location. Commissioner Wheelock, when I read the minutes of that particular meeting, you had mentioned that the cost of transmissions were expensive, and they are. They're $1,800. And with my 30% markup on my parts, you felt that that was excessive, and I understand. But nobody asked me about it, and the fact is, when we do engine and transmission major assemblies, we allow the people to buy their own. We would get them hooked up with the people that sell the engines and transmissions, allow them to buy themselves, so there's no huge cost, because it's already going to be a huge cost. I'd already discussed that with Nate Alger, and I thought we were pretty clear on that. We always allow all of our clients to buy their components. We work on Charter Communications. We have for a decade with no concerns. They send us transmissions and engines all the time. Saves them money, and everybody's happy. My pricing was very fair, I thought. It's less than half of what we normally do, and I like the county. I mean, my house is in Garfield Township, my business is in Garfield Township, and I'm trying to keep your costs down as well. I would like to see if the board would consider me to at least have the areas that I'm already repairing, which would be the health department, the construction code, probate court, some of the other ones that are smaller that don't have the manpower to go back and forth with two people to drop a car off 9 miles out of town. I have talked to those administrators, and they have agreed it would be an extreme hardship for them. They've been very pleased with our service over the last 11 years. If the sheriff's department, wants to continue on with their bid process the way it's going, and to me, and I don't have any answers why the bid was allowed. If they do, about the amount of money that I bid at the time, because the sealed bids were open at 10 a.m. on Monday, and then I got a phone call from Nate Alger stating that I had the lowest bid, and it looked good, but they didn't have a bid from D&W, so they were going to look around and find out what happened. Now, the story I got initially was that the bid was their fax machine was broken and it didn't go through. The next story I got was that they faxed it to the wrong number several times, and somehow they got it. So I don't know if they seen my bid since it was public knowledge at that time or not. I don't know. But I did submit my bid on time. I did it ethically. I did it exactly as I was supposed to do, and I did my homework. And I've had this purchasing policy. I wanted to make sure I was doing it right because I had 10 years of trying to get in on this deal. And Dean Bott has been very conscientious of my efforts and been very nice to allow me to continue working on some of the county areas because we are pretty close to some of the other bids, and I applaud their office for that. But it does state, fax bids will not be accepted, period. It's not my policy, maybe it needs to be updated, and I'm not trying to burn my bridge here, I just thought it was unfair. I'm trying to be fair. I'll accept anything that this Board of Commissioners decides is reasonable. I would like to see the other departments come to me if it's at all possible. And I have been doing business, just so you know, in 2012, without the oil changes for the Sheriff's Department, I've done $18,573 in auto repairs for your county vehicles at the same rate that D&W bid this time. Since
Mark,
2000...
Can you wrap it up, please?
I'm sorry. Yep, I will. That's all. That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
I'm just asking for some thought on that.
Okay. Chris?
Mr. Chairman, as you know, I did not vote in favor of this. I did not vote in favor of it because I felt that we were bending our policy for D&W simply because we've always done business with them. And I don't believe that's the way we need to look to the future. Doing things the way we've always done them, just because we have, we have rules in place. And Traverse City Fleet Repair stepped up, they met the obligation, and D&W did not. And we are bending the rules. Basically, we're not doing, we're saying, you don't have to meet our rules, you don't have to meet our obligations. And you know, when you do that repeatedly, other people will stop bidding. Other businesses will stop sharpening their pencil. And Traverse City Fleet Repair sharpened their pencil. They have been trying, as this business owner has said, Grand Traverse County taxpayer, Garfield Township taxpayer. This business has been trying repeatedly to do business with Grand Traverse County. He met the requirements. D&W did not, and therefore, I will not be supporting this motion if one is made. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the initial recommendation in our packet from the Sheriff's Department that got approved by committee on item number 15, and appreciate the comments from the speaker.
Do I have support on this?
Support for
Dean?
discussion.
Dean, you had a comment?
I just want to add, the undersheriff made me aware of the issue with TC Fleet not wanting to have only the oil change component of our business. And I discussed this afternoon vehicle repairs for our health department. Jerry Pugh did mention the convenience that we have. They have currently, most of their vehicles are serviced by TC Fleet, and they have been very happy with the work that's done. Jerry provided me with 2 examples of some minor repairs that were done in the time that it would take to drive out to D&W Auto. And Jerry was asking for consideration, and I'm sure Bruce Ramey, our construction code director, and our other departments that are more centrally located in town would also prefer to have an option, and that option would be TC Fleet. So that would be my compromise or recommendation for your consideration, that we do have a separate contract. When you consider our nurses, our our sanitarians or our environmental people, the productivity that they have to have. I mean, to spend 15 to 20 minutes driving a vehicle out, you've got 2 staff people tied up. To be honest, I would look at the convenience feature or aspect of this for my own personal vehicles. I'm not going to drive that far to have a vehicle repaired. So we've got a great track record with TC Fleet. Jerry Pugh is recommending that we at least have that option for all of our departments that are in town. You know, they're different operations than our sheriff's office. You know, our sheriff's vehicles are out. They go out that way. It's not as much of an inconvenience for them to have somebody else ride out and drop a vehicle off or pick up a vehicle, but for the other departments, it's a major inconvenience, and I would ask for some consideration, at least for a separate agreement.
Okay. Sonny?
Well, I guess I was under the understanding this
This is just
vehicle
for the sheriff.
contract was strictly for the sheriff's department vehicles.
That's correct.
You know, but, you know, as I read the way it come out, you know, in the final draft, it says entered into for maintenance and oil changes as identified above. It doesn't specify that, you know, and in the first paragraph, it says recommendation from the sheriff's office. You know, the sheriff's department is not choosing maintenance for health department vehicles.
Right.
You know, I think this is strictly a sheriff's department issue as far as this contract goes. You know, I have no problem with either one of these vendors. I believe both of them are gonna do a good job for us. I don't, you know, I think that's, you know, straight up front. You know, I did have a little discussion about the markup on the parts, you know, because it truly does make a difference. But, you know, that being said, you know, that's a discussion that can be had. You know, I personally don't have any problem with the work that TC Fleet has done for the county in the past, and I would certainly think that they're going to continue to do work in the future. I don't believe this resolution precludes other county departments. This was a contract for the sheriff's department, and it specifies that D&W and TC Fleet can do vehicle maintenance.
And oil changes.
Typically, other departments follow what the sheriff's department does. Commission on Aging historically has. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration.
Dick?
Unless I'm reading this wrong, this resolution doesn't say just the sheriff's department. It says it's
No.
the fleet.
No, it doesn't.
Can I say one thing, please?
No.
No? I'm sorry.
Well, we can add it in.
So, any other discussion, Charlie?
I had the impression it had all to do with the sheriff's department
So did I.
myself when this came around. And I will also say I did not vote for it at the time because I don't honestly think it was handled correctly. That's my feeling of it.
Well, I'll amend my motion that this resolution is only to the sheriff's department vehicles. Does second agree with that?
Do I have the support of the second?
I'll agree for the discussion as I did the first time, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? Chris?
I still will not be supporting it. D&W did not meet our bid requirements.
Any other discussion?
Is there a way we can be fair about this and let them both have a crack at it, or?
That's
can
what-
rebid it.
That's what the resolution says, that the sheriff's department can use either or DW or TC Fleet for maintenance and oil changes. So
So-
it's their discretion.
No, it doesn't.
So it
It
already
doesn't
say
say
that.
that, Larry.
It says D&W for all major repairs and TC Fleet for oil changes of fleet vehicles.
All right, that's fine. I mean, that's the way the recommendation was from the sheriff's department, so.
You know, from my perspective, I probably won't vote for the motion even though I seconded it, because I'm gonna tell the sheriff's department to go back and rebid this project.
Thank you.
You know, so that would be, you know, if this motion fails, I'm gonna submit a motion to ask the sheriff's department to rebid their vehicle maintenance.
He is kind of right, you know. I voted for it, and I didn't read the details. He knows more about it than I did.
My problem with going it back out for a rebid is now the bidders know what the prices are. And
Well, you don't think D&W did after the bids were already opened?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
We did,
but now they do.
we
Yeah.
asked that question.
So, any other discussion?
I don't know about a rebid, but it's gotta have a redo.
So, we
I don't
have
know what a
a,
redo is.
we'll have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Wheelock?
No.
Max Bauer?
No.
Lathrop?
No.
Rennie?
No.
Inman?
Yes.
Thomas?
Nope.
Lemkool?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to notify the Sheriff's Department that we have not accepted their maintenance agreement recommendation, and they need to either redo it or rebid it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Max Bauer?
Yes.
Lathrop?
Yes.
Rennie?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Wheelock?
Yes, ma'am.
Lemkool?
No.
Bing bong.
So,
Motion passes.
okay, so that motion carried. Next on our agenda is the other item that was pulled off, and that would be for the Twin Lakes.
Jason pulled it off, I think.
Yep, Jason?
Jason Jones, your county's Parks and Recreation Director. The reason I pulled this off the consent calendar is I wasn't sure if any of you would have.
Oh, yeah.
I would have.
Wasn't necessarily my intent to speak on this, it was simply to bring attention to the fact that the ultimate resolution there is to specifically and very definitively close the beach at Twin Lakes. I don't believe, after reviewing your video from last week, that was the intent with this resolution. So before I got passed along on the consent calendar, I wanted to bring that to your attention. I can also give an update of the progress that's occurred at Twin Lakes if the commission would desire.
I would like to hear it.
At last week, at your last week's Ways and Means Commission meeting, committee meeting, the recommendation was made that the Twin Lakes Beach be closed until the County Parks and Recreation Commission could come up with a plan to address safety issues. At the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting last week, which was the following evening, we had about 50 people in attendance in this facility. About 20 spoke out about things that they would like to see the county address related to safety at the park. I gave a brief account of some of the commonalities between the drownings that have occurred at Twin Lakes over the past 4 years, and ultimately recommended to the County Parks and Recreation Commission that that the county funds lifeguards at Twin Lakes, that we specify a designated swimming area at Twin Lakes, we install safety equipment, and that the county provides water safety classes to high school students at both West and at Central High Schools. The Parks and Recreation Commission, and in fact, my recommendation was to run those ideas by risk management. The County Parks and Recreation Commission unanimously approved all 4 of my recommendations, included adding an emergency phone at the beach at Twin Lakes, and they said, don't wait for this to be approved by risk management. So all 5 of those recommendations were approved. On Friday, I canceled my meetings and personally went out shopping, purchased temporary buoys, designated a swim area, installed 2 life rings with 50 feet of rope. We're waiting on some finalized, or some final steel life ring structures that are going to go down at the beach, similar to what they have at Frankfurt. They have a very successful life-saving program there. I met out there today with Grand Traverse Mobile, getting a quote for an emergency telephone to be placed out at the park. I met yesterday with TCAPS, proposing the idea that we work with freshmen specifically to come in because we want to hit that high school age group, kids from Central. My intent was to have them do these water safety lessons inside the Civic Center. I met with Jane Moore, the Associate Superintendent, and Scott Robertson, a County Commissioner, or Parks and Rec Commissioner, as well as a LEAP Director for TCAPS. They actually suggested that this be done at Bryant Park. And the intent with, the reason I went specifically for TCAPS in Bryant Park, or local, is because kids from Central can walk to Bryant Park. My other intent was for kids from West to do swim lesson or have a water safety class at the beginning of the school year when the water's still warm and when the days are still warm out at Twin Lakes, because it's only approximately a mile from Traverse City West. She's going to take that back to her curriculum director as well as her physical education director and be in touch with me as to whether or not that's a feasible option. Tomorrow, I'll be meeting with the Coast Guard, the executive officer there, to discuss a variety of topics related to water safety with them. And that's the action plan that this commission, that our Parks and Rec Commission put in place.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Jason, what are the possibilities of putting an additional sign out there that at least indicates that there's an extreme drop-off at the edge of the buoys in their caution or danger or whatever? So that's added to, the visual on the buoys.
My apologies, I didn't cover that topic.
Okay.
We need to change some beach rules. We need to institute some different rules at the beach.
Okay.
We anticipate, it's our intent to start promoting that park, to have more swimmers at the park because it's a safe park. The drop-off where the designated swim area, where the temporary designated swim area is, the drop-off it's not near, it borders the drop-off. We're absolutely happy to sign it, though.
Yeah, and the only other question I have is, wouldn't it be safer to have swim lessons at the pool rather than at Twin Lakes where the water might be cold and then you've got that big steep drop-off?
The intent is to have have guards there.
Okay.
Lifeguards there to address that issue, have the lessons or the water safety instruction inside the designated swim area, which is roped off away from the hazards.
All right, okay.
Sonny?
Jason, as you know and most of us know, I've facilitated a number of soccer camps at Twin Lakes over the years. One of the issues is always we get as many people in there at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night swimming as we do at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What are your proposal for hours, or are you going to give the beach open-closed hours as far as your lifeguards?
In speaking with the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association, we're able to post hours that we have lifeguards. We don't have to have lifeguards from sunup to sundown or 24 hours a day. They've in fact suggested that if we have specific hours that lifeguards would be on hand, we create signage that identifies the times that they're there and the times that the beach is unguarded. It's my intent currently. We have 4 staff members that have open water, that are open water certified lifeguards. And it's my intent as we continue to increase the number of folks that have the open water lifeguard or certificate, that we expand the hours. Initially, my thought is approximately 4 to dusk, because that's when we get the majority of the teenagers who unfortunately have been the drowning victims over the past 4 years out at the park.
Chris?
I would prefer not to have this conversation right now. There are a number of reasons why. First of all, that's not what this resolution is about. This resolution is about whether or not the county board recommended to close Twin Lakes. And my memory is they did not. They recommended that the Parks Board take a look at it, and that's what the Parks Board did, and the Parks Board put together a plan. I think that plan needs to be implemented very carefully, very judiciously. All those who are open water swimmers on this board, raise your hand. Thank you. Open water swimming is very, very different. And just because someone is open water certified doesn't mean that they're physically capable. And I don't want to move so fast that we give the public a false sense of security. We have installed safety lines. We have a throw ring. And I would ask you, please, this is about this resolution, not what we are going to do moving forward. You are certainly all aware of the steps we have made to date. The county administrator certainly is taking a great interest in this and is paying very close attention to it, as is the Parks Board. And one step at a time, please. Let's this is about, this resolution, not the 4 steps that were recommended and how they're implemented. And I'm going to say one more time, open water swimming, especially in Twin Lakes, you cannot know until you've done it. I've done it. My husband has done it. You can't, I've got it on film. You don't know until you do it. Please, one step at a time, let's move judiciously. We have to date. This is about this resolution. Let's keep it at that.
Larry?
Well, 2 things. One is, I think the appropriate action is just to not take action on the resolution, and if we don't take action, Bob, I think it just dies from lack of action. So if we don't address it or take a motion, it just dies off the consent calendar. The second question I have is for Jason, is that, is it my understanding that once we implement lifeguards, that all the liability falls upon us in Grand Traverse County, but if we don't have lifeguards, then all the liability falls upon the individual and if their parents are there?
Larry, I'm going to cut this
Thank you.
discussion off
All right.
because that's not about, I
right.
think if you want to have that discussion, it should be with the Parks and Recreation
That's
Commission.
fine. That's fine.
I think anybody
I
that
can
wants
have-
to discuss that.
And the administrator.
All right.
Let's work in that direction.
right,
Let's
that's
talk
fine.
about this
Okay.
particular.
I just assume just not take any action
Sonny?
on
I
it.
have to say
Well,
one more thing.
The point about it is the resolution says the Board of Commissioners that Grand Traverse County recommends the Grand Traverse County Parks and Recreation to close the beach at Twin Lakes Park immediately.
That's not
I
true.
didn't, well,
That's
that's
not
what the
what he said.
but that's what the resolution that's in the packet says. I didn't
It's
support it
incorrect.
last week, and I still don't support it this week. So, I don't know where you want to go to, whether you want to ignore it or you want to turn down the resolution that's in the packet. But I will not support the resolution to close the beach at Twin Lakes.
Nor will I.
Okay?
Mark your calendar.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I made that motion, and the way they reported it was not the motion I made.
Right,
We agree with that.
We made
right.
was that we recommend that the Parks Board look at it, either close it down or fix it. That was just a recommendation to the board, which they did. So I think it was misreported, and I agree with Jason that that's not what we said.
So what do you want to do with this?
You can either vote no or just not take action.
Let it die.
I'll make a motion, we reject the resolution.
You can remove it from the table.
Move to table?
You can
No.
remove it from the
To
table.
remove it from, I'll make a motion to remove it from the table.
Is that what the motion should be, or would we look at?
Make a motion to throw it
rejecting
in
the
the
motion?
bus.
table it, then that just means
That
that.
is, you got to bring
Then
it
you gotta
back.
bring it back. I think
Oh, okay.
Dick's
Doesn't say
motion
when.
to.
You don't have to
Dick's
do
motion-
anything.
Dick's motion to disregard
Gets rid of it.
disregard the resolution, I will support that motion.
We have a motion and a
Well, it's
second.
not correct. There was never, that
That's
wasn't the
okay.
resolution.
It doesn't
That's the
matter if we
resolution that's
reject.
in the packet.
Or
It
just
doesn't
reject
matter
it.
if it's rejected,
Was
it's
there
done.
ever a
It's off the
motion
table.
to
I
adopt
mean,
the
it's off the
resolution?
Not
consent
tonight.
agenda, so if you don't have a motion and support, it will die for lack of support, right?
Right.
So we can just
Yeah.
ignore it
If
and
nobody
move
makes a
on.
motion to approve it, then it dies.
Right.
All right.
Chris?
Well, I just want to say, please do not doubt my sincerity on wanting Twin Lakes to be safe. That is my primary focus.
Charlie?
Real quick question, Jason. Are there lifeguards on duty now?
We've not instituted that.
When then?
I'm sorry?
When will they be on duty then?
This is a discussion for Parks and Recreation. We need to talk about the
This is
motion.
not a county board discussion. This is a Parks and Recreation discussion.
So if you need to, I think anybody in the community, anybody on the board, if you want to discuss this, either that, or
Joint
we
meeting.
disband the Parks and Recreation Commission.
We can have a joint meeting.
Or we can have a joint meeting if you want to have that. We can do that. But I'm trying to keep us focused in on the motion, and the motion is that we not approve this.
I'm fine with it.
All
I
right.
guess my point was if we have some confidence that some things have happened, that we could maybe let this go.
No.
That's all.
Well, you can vote it down if you want. We'll have a roll call vote. And the motion
What
is.
is the
I'm not
motion?
clear on the motion.
I
The
want to hear the
motion is
motion.
to not approve this.
Erroneous resolution,
Yeah.
fine.
I'm not voting for it.
I don't
'cause
think
it's
there was
incorrect.
ever a motion.
It's incorrect.
Did
There was a
anybody ever
motion to not approve it.
Dick made a motion to
So
not
if you
approve it.
vote
and I
yes,
support it.
it dies.
Okay.
Okay.
Was there
It
a
just
second?
dies anyway,
Yes, there
so
was.
If you
So,
vote yes.
if you vote yes, it
Motion by
dies.
Thomas, support by,
It's not right. That's
Okay, well,
right.
that's-
It's not, it's in the record incorrectly.
It's a fib, it's in
It
the
does-
record.
so we're just going to
right.
wipe it out.
I don't think it matters at this point. If you're going to deny it, it doesn't
Vote on the
matter.
motion.
All right.
Yeah, good point.
Excuse me? What was that?
I said vote on a motion.
Okay. We'll have a roll call on the motion, which is
Can I
to-
clarify it a little
Yes,
bit here?
please.
Okay.
For all of us.
So, motion made by Thomas, seconded by Wheelock, to not adopt this resolution.
That's right.
Correct.
Okay.
Fine.
Lathrop,
No.
Rennie,
Yes.
Inman,
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Wheelock,
Yes.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Inman.
Yes.
Lemkool.
I'll do two yeses.
Sorry.
You're going to get to vote twice.
Motion carried.
I understand.
Yeah.
We're okay with it.
Senior commissioners get 2 votes, isn't it in the bylaws?
Yeah, no. Next on the agenda
What's a
is
senior
the
commissioner? At what age?
Over 55.
Treasurer's Report, Restricted Funds, Excess Proceeds from Foreclosure Actions.
You should have a copy in your packet. Basically, this is just a standard form we have to submit to the board by June 30th every year. The results of our foreclosure fund. If you look, we had a $3,507 loss in the fund. On page 2, you'll see the proceeds from 2012 actually had a gain of $22,000. So next year, it'll be a positive report. At this time, 75% of these funds, if there was a surplus, would go to the Land Bank Housing Trust Fund. Since there's nothing, it'll stay in the fund balance as a negative until next year. And I would entertain any questions if you have.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the recommendation of the county treasurer in regard to excess proceeds on foreclosure funds. Support.
Support by Rennie. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next is community correction. Thank you, Heidi. Next is community corrections, and there is a separate resolution on your desk that is a corrected resolution.
Sharice Shively, I'm the Community Corrections Manager. The 2 items that you have before you, the first deals with, we are a 3-year contract, in a 3-year contract with the State of Michigan Office of Community Alternatives. They have adjusted our budget. They adjusted most community corrections departments in the state. They took money from us for the first time that's ever happened. They reduced our 3-year grant by $27,234. That's a little more than $9,000 a year. And that is what the first form is, just an amendment to that. We feel that we are fine managing that. This was the first time that we have ever lapsed funds. What they did is they took, agencies that lapsed funds, and they took a 2-year picture of it. We had only lapsed funds for 1 year. The funds that we lapsed were our former manager, Greg Summers, was on medical leave for 2 or 3 months, and so his wages were paid from short-term disability, and so they stated we lapsed funds because we didn't use those funds. So they took them from us.
They took it away.
I need a motion to approve this.
Motion to approve the alternative contract change.
By Wheelock, seconded by Lathrop.
I think the other piece to talk about a little bit is the fact that our Department of Community Corrections does an excellent job of managing their programming and grouping people together, which costs us less money per individual, and that makes a huge difference in the way how efficient we are about it. And, I think the state's wrong in coming in and taking our money because we didn't spend as much. They allow so much per prisoner in regard to this because we were more efficient than they are. Can you believe that? Therefore, they're going to take the money away from us. I think that's wrong, but they're not going to give us any choice.
Yeah, it wasn't a choice.
They already took the money.
Do I need a roll call on this? I don't think so. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. By the way, how's everything working? You're relatively
Yeah,
new. You
very
still
well. It's actually
got,
going
what,
very well. Greg has he's still on staff for 2 days a week, and he had me trained really well. He prepared for this for about a year.
Good.
So it hasn't really had any problems.
Perfect. Thank you for
All
what
right.
you're doing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is Finance, June's claim summary, what's on your desk?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the June 2013 claims report presented to the commission in the total claims amount of $6,720,298.01.
Support.
Support by Wheelock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next is Prosecuting Attorney, Ordinance 22.
Do you want me to comment on that?
Well, you're the one that,
Yeah, this was, I don't know, I
this is
know,
Prosecuting Attorney. You started, Ordinance 22 is on your, underneath your agenda.
well, I know it's been discussed at the committee meeting, and essentially this combines our appeals boards for building code, soil erosion, health, and Boca Fire with the Board of Appeals for inspections for electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. And this was, I think, requested by the Building Code Department, I think initiated it. And I don't know there's been any real controversy about it, but that's what it does. And there's one other glitch, and that is soil erosion ordinance still refers to a different appeals board, but I think we've got it covered, that if you're in front of one of those boards in this last paragraph, 3.8, that those other boards are abolished, and that the appeals are transferred to this new Building Code Board of Appeals. But we should probably amend the soil erosion ordinance to reflect that fact.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the combination of the appeals board. We don't get very many appeals in the first place, and to combine them just makes it much more efficient. You know, I've known contractors that had to deal with appeals, and they, because of a couple different things, they have to go to the construction appeals board, and then they have to at a different time go to the mechanical appeals, and it would just be a lot easier to deal with at one time.
I have a motion. Do I have support?
Second.
Thomas? Support by Thomas. Any other discussion? Do I need a roll call on this?
It's an ordinance.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next is the ORV ordinance. Right?
Do you want me to, or do you want to, I guess I could talk about this. This is to, in reaction to Blair Township had changed a number of things in its ordinance, and it came to our attention, and they wanted to get the county map updated. And as we looked at the ordinance number 29, which is our county ORV ordinance, it's passed pretty much exactly the way the statute intended, and allowed for the same things that the statute allowed for. The county was authorized to designate these roads, and then townships were given the authority to remove roads from that and add additional roads about a year later, if I remember this correctly. And so built into that statutory methodology where the townships can change the ORV roads, the roads that are designated as, you know, off-road vehicle roads, eligible roads, the map gets out of date because it's not like every amendment has to come through the County Board of Commissioners and the ORV, the ordinance at the county level gets amended each time. The county adopted an ordinance and a map, and now the townships are authorized to change it. So we are proposing the Blair Township changes to be made to our county map. And then in the future, if townships change their ordinances to remove roads or modify roads or add roads, they don't have to come to the county board and we don't have to amend our ordinance. They just have to notify us so that we can update the county map and everybody has the same map. So, and we're doing that. The clerk and I talked today about how we would do that. We kind of put this together because we didn't know exactly how it worked, and now we've got it figured out, I think. The township clerks will contact the county clerk, and the county clerk will make sure that the GIS department and the road commission get the information. So that's the intent of the changes in the ordinance. One is for Blair Township, the changes to Section 2, and the changes to Section 3 are to provide a feedback mechanism to keep the county map updated.
And the changes to Section 2G were what were approved at the Resource Management and Administration meeting
Right.
this month. And Section 3, it was kind of an afterthought, but probably a good idea to have a procedure in here for how townships and the county work together to get that map updated. So people who want to recreate in Grand Traverse County with ORVs have a resource for that.
Do I have a motion?
Well, but Blair Township wants to open those roads that you've got,
They can do it with it, whether they want to, but they have to
Well-
notify.
but item G should not be in this.
Now, those are the roads that are open.
Right.
It says far right maintained with these exceptions. Following roads in Blair Township.
See, Blair Township originally
Oh, geez.
did not allow any roads east of M37.
Okay.
I think
Good, I'm glad somebody looked.
I think they're adding.
They want
Yeah,
to
it's the
open,
exact
They wanna open
opposite,
it
so.
up,
so we should eliminate paragraph G.
Right.
Yeah, I think paragraph G was a rather extensive
Yeah. You're
list of
right.
exceptions.
Right, basically, and it was everything
Everything
east
in
of
Blair Township,
M37.
pretty much.
So do you want to leave it as an exception?
No, because this is wrong.
Just take it out?
Take it
I
out.
think
So
we
they
can
really
strike
have
G
opened
altogether.
every single
Everything
road in
is
Blair?
what it is,
Okay.
right.
I
They
guess I
voted to
misunderstood the way
open
they
them.
wrote the minutes.
I think we strike G completely.
Okay. Very good.
And we'll number those, well, letter those,
Whatever.
Yep.
eliminate
Section
the
3B
current
will
G.
Will stay in there.
Okay.
Okay? Dick?
You got a motion?
Nope.
I'll make a motion with the exception of item G.
Support.
We have motion support. The only question I have in here is that when they start talking about no person less than 12 years of age, I heard that for boating, you have to be 16 now. Would that make a difference on this? Is that something that should be worked at together, or is it, this is a separate issue?
Section 7 says a child less than 16 of age shall not operate on any road.
So,
The bottom of the next page.
And I think
okay.
the new state law actually still uses 12 for personal watercraft.
I think they just changed it to 16. I
They-
don't know.
It's
Yeah,
just
okay.
happened this week
Okay.
too, so.
No problem.
Whatever.
All right.
16's good.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next is unfinished business, disposable asset statutory authority.
Well, that was an item that,
Oh,
go ahead.
that was an item that at the RMNA meeting you asked us to look at, and essentially, I think the question came up because why are we having to approve these disposal of assets, and they usually come from the sheriff's office. There is a statute that requires that you approve disposal of assets of stolen property, and I think that kind of morphed into the sheriff sending all of their disposed asset requests to the board. So we can, I think we've already furnished our memo to the sheriff when we've talked to them about the fact they only need to send over the stolen property disposable assets for your consideration, and that's by statute. You can't get rid of all of them.
Okay. Larry?
Just to remind the commission that we had provided you I don't remember the date of the resolution, but it was a long time ago, that the Board of Commissioners adopted that I believe said that any item over 5,000 required, over 5,000 required the Board of Commissioners approval, and anything under 5,000 required the approval and consent of the county administrator. So if anyone has an issue regarding that, then we can put that on next month's RMA.
Everybody comfortable with that? Dave?
Wasn't it 10,000?
Yeah.
Was it 10 or 5?
I think it was 10.
Was it
No,
10?
it's 5,000
I think it was
for-
5.
I thought it was 5.
5,000.
Yeah, and just if I could add, one of the reasons we used that $5,000 level was because of the change in the governmental accounting standards. We don't capitalize fixed assets if they're less than $5,000 in value because it's an administrative nightmare to keep track. That doesn't mean that we still have records that track those assets, but that was the reason for that dollar level in that resolution.
Everybody comfortable with that? Understandable? Okay. Next, we'll go on to new business. I don't see anything. Second, public comment. Anybody from the public like to comment? Commissioner reports.
Ada,
New shirts.
Boss, pardon?
New shirts.
Yeah, nice shirt.
Thank you, yeah.
I never got one of those.
I never got one of those either.
I'm really proud to be on that board. I've worked a lot with the board. Anyway, they're having a cookout for their employees tomorrow from 11 till 3:30. I'm going to go, and if any of you guys want to, I'm sure they'd like your support. It's a great group.
Okay. Any other commissioner reports?
Took a wonderful tour of the Boardman River Restoration area out at Brown Bridge Pond with Herb, some other folks here a couple weeks ago. It is the property that was east of the dam, and it has really turned out well, I would say. The stream is in place. It looks like it's running fine. The revegetation is taking place. It looks real nice, actually. I can't say too much below the dam, but that section looked great.
Okay. Any other commissioner reports? I did attend a water studies presentation today at Sunset Park, and talking about sampling of beaches and what they're doing, and we are improving. And but one of the things that they were not aware of that was brought our attention to is how well we are doing our septic waste with our septic treatment plant and the treatment plant at the city of Traverse City. So they're going to make sure that this is a group out of Chicago. So she wasn't aware of some of the things that we already are doing. So we're trying to make them aware that we're doing great things in our community, and they ought to know about it. And so we did put that in. Representative Smith was there, and Mike Busley and the guy from Shorts Brewery were there to talk about the quality of water in our community and how important it is for them to have the good quality water in order to have good quality businesses. Okay. Any other commissioners report? Any notices? Everybody's received a notice that going to be gone for most of July. So I know it. Where you going? I'm going to be at the National Jamboree. So with that in mind, Chris has already canceled the public health and safety. I'm asking if the board is interested in canceling our meetings for the month of July.
No.
No.
Well, but you might want to look at whether or not, how much is on your agenda, because there won't be a lot on the agenda coming down.
The chairman of the committees always do.
I know, but I'm just saying the chairmans may want to look at that and combining some of those meetings, so we only have the one meeting at the end of the month.
Sonny, you're a Boy Scout, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have a Boy Scout cover us while you're gone.
Okay, no problem. I'm
We got it covered.
So, whatever. Chris?
While you're at the Boy Scout Jamboree, I have been researching how standards are set for water safety lines, and the Boy Scouts lead the pack.
Oh, yes, they do. So it's interesting. How their training programs are probably the top in the world as to how well they train their volunteers and what they do for programs and services. So I just had to go through a couple of different training programs before I could even go there. And very interesting to see what they do and how much they're protecting children. So, any other notices? No closed session?
Motion to adjourn.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Good job, people.
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you, Herb.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
Didn't mean to cut you guys off on
No,
that,
I understand.
but- Okay.
Herb just asked me if I picked my.
I was just trying to